South Carolina is dominating the charts as one of the hottest states to move to. Uhaul's 2024 migration trends showed that South Carolina is leading the nation in inbound moves, and the National Association of Realtors ranked us 5th for the fastest growing population in 24. With so many people coming to the Palmetto State, it is clear that you're going to need a place to call home. So let's dive into everything that you need to know before buying a home here in South Carolina. Let's talk about the cost of a home across the state. According to the most recent data from the National Association of Realtors, the median home price nationwide is $414,000. In Charleston, that median home price is $458,000. The median price in Myrtle Beach is $363,000, and Greenville's market trails behind that with a median price of $341,000. Now, our median home price here in Columbia is around $270,000 this year. Except for Charleston, most of South Carolina falls below the national average, making it one of the more affordable states to live in. If you're ready to start touring homes here and you're working with a realtor, please know that here in South Carolina, we cannot even open a single door for you until you have signed our state disclosure. Other brokerages and other individual agents, they might have other policies and requirements on top of that, but signing the state disclosure is the bare minimum requirement that we as the realtor community have to follow before we can even pop a lockbox for you, even if it's a virtual tour. If you want to be represented by a realtor and receive their advice, their opinion, and consultation throughout the home buying process, you're going to also then have to sign a buyer agency contract to receive those services. For real estate transactions, South Carolina is an attorney state. That means that when you're buying and selling a home and you're doing a closing, that transaction is going to be handled and closed by an attorney. We do not have an attorney review period, thank God. So buying a home is much faster than it is in other states like New York, for example. We can easily close a home in 30 days if the lender and the closing attorney have room on the schedule to make it happen. So you really do not have to worry that buying a home is going to be a long, drawn-out process like it can be in other states. In many parts of the state, the local realtor association is going to have their own preferred purchase contract that they use specifically in that area. And we do have a state board of realtors contract that we do use in several markets across the state as well. These contracts are standardized and they have already been drafted by attorneys in collaboration with the real estate community in that area, and that helps us avoid the need for an attorney review period. South Carolina is a buyer beware state, which means that the burden is on the buyer to investigate the home and all of its systems and the overall condition, and then decide if you're comfortable moving forward with buying it. Despite that, the real estate buying and selling process here is a lot more relaxed and laid back than it is in other states. And I have found that our mentality here is a bit of a hurdle for some of our relocation clients. Now, the best example and also the most frustrating one for our out-of-state clients is looking at our seller property disclosure. Now, this is required by the state for a seller to fill this disclosure out for a buyer to review it before they make an offer. They have to give information about the home, the age of various systems and components in the home, and they're required to disclose any existing or past issues. Now, people here for the most part do not keep records on their home maintenance. And most of the time we get these disclosures and there is just virtually nothing on there. The seller doesn't know the age of the roof. They don't know the age of the water heater. They have no idea when they installed the heating and air system, but they think it's only a couple of years old. And then come to find out they installed it 8 years ago once you do your heating and air inspection. Now, you're going to have to rely on your inspection period to really learn about the age and the condition of major systems in the home. even though the homeowner should be aware of it. So be prepared that you might not get that information and that insight about the home until you complete inspections for yourself. I know it might sound crazy and it drives so many of our clients crazy, but that is just the way things go here. In South Carolina, we say it's not a question of if you'll get termites, it is a matter of when. Active termite infestation and damage that is caused by a previous infestation are common issues that come up on a lot of inspection reports here. Now, it is not required for a seller to have or offer a termite bond to a buyer. But if the seller does have one, I highly encourage you to contact that bond company during your due diligence period and get the details of that bond in writing. If it is transferable, you absolutely want to transfer it into your name after closing. Now, if the home is not covered, I really encourage you to contact a local termite company and have that home placed under a bond to protect your home and your pocketbook in the future moving forward. I know you've heard that South Carolina's weather is hot and humid, but you probably haven't given very much thought to how that impacts the buying process. A lot of buyers wait until the last minute to schedule the utilities to get transferred into their name. And some even wait until after closing to do that. And you don't want to do that here in South Carolina, especially in the summertime, when traditionally here, most homes tend to get sold. You do not want to be moving into your new home with no air conditioning and with no running water for several days, especially if you end up closing on a Friday and all the utility providers are closed over the weekend. So be sure that you transfer the utilities into your name before you close on the home. A huge benefit of living in South Carolina is that we have low property taxes, but that is only for your primary residence. If you were living in your primary residence here in South Carolina, you're going to be subject to a lower property tax rate than what you would if you were an investor. For a primary residence, the annual property tax is going to be, worst case, about 0.75% of the home's value. If it is an investment property, the rate is going to be 3 to 4 times higher than that. The median home price in South Carolina was around $363,000 recently, so property tax on a primary residence like that would likely be around $2,800. Now, in more rural areas, that tax could be a good bit lower, but it shouldn't be more than that, even in more developed cities. South Carolina's homestead exemption provides another property tax break for homeowners that are 65 or older, disabled, or legally blind. It exempts the first $50,000 of your market value on your primary residence from property taxes. Now, this only applies to owner-occupied primary residences, and it can significantly reduce the tax burden for homeowners that qualify. Living in South Carolina, you're going to be paying both federal and state income taxes. State income tax is 6.2% in 2025, and we're scheduled to go down to 6% by 27. We also have an annual tax on all motor vehicles, along with transfer taxes to transfer your car's registration into the state. Then, if you end up moving from one county in South Carolina to another county, you have to re-register your car in the new county as well, and there's going to be additional taxes for that also. I'm Bethany Way, a realtor with the Geary Group at Keller Williams Palmetto. If you're ready to start your home buying journey in South Carolina, my team and I would love to be your #1 resource for all that our state has to offer. My contact information is in the description below. If you're still not decided on South Carolina just yet, keep watching while I walk you through more about what it's like living in the Palmetto State.